Hi, everybody. I just can't wait because I'm just bursting with information. So you're going to catch me doing my little preparations here. Lip gloss. If I have lip gloss, I feel I can face the world. Okay, so 9 of clubs today. I picked it randomly, of course, which means that it's in the flow. Oh, I'm so excited about this. Um okay, so I was having a little back and forth with Jason, the Three of Diamonds, because in our last session yesterday, we looked at the Three of Diamonds. And I began reading some of the profiles that he'd written for things. And I was reading all the way through the Three of Diamonds. And finally, I went, oh my God, this sounds like me. And then I went, of course, it's the karma card to the Queen of Diamonds. And I'm a Leo female, which means you don't get a planetary ruler. So you look at the personality card. Okay, do you need me to repeat that? If you are a Leo, or if you know a Leo, they don't have a planetary ruling card. So what do you do with that? Well, I just decided a long time ago, hey, how's it going, Ray? Yes. I just decided a long time ago, I don't know, I was like, well, maybe the personality cards, meaning the queen. Oh, yes, I was live yesterday. No worries. We did the Three of Diamonds, so it was really fun for Jason. Well, I hope it was fun. But anyway, so if you're a Leo or you know a Leo, consider looking at the King, Queen, and Jack. Like, look up their spread, look up your age, treat it like your planetary ruler. And I hadn't really thought about, because I'm a Seven of Diamonds, I don't think about karma cards that much. But the Queen of Diamonds is my entry point into the other 45 cards. Your nephew is a Leo. Oh, good. So I'm like, okay, it's my entry point into this, so I can have an environment card and a displacement card and a karma card. So I was like, Three of Diamonds. Oh my gosh. I sound like when I read the about in Nathan's little or Jason's little description of it, there was a bit about indecision, and if you can channel that indecision into creative energy and find acceptance, like that's the big thing, find acceptance for it, then you can really move forward with some amazing creative things. And I have been very creative with money. And so I just wanted to say this basic thing, that when we're looking at card and it's not your card and you're like 30 miles away from thinking about this having anything to do with you, it's so fun to see yourself as a reflection, okay, and go, oh, I got boxed into thinking I was and we have all kinds of labels that we do that with, right? And then all of a sudden somebody says, oh, your da 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 is in Scorpio, and you're like, what? And then you start applying it to yourself and you go, I never saw that. And that's why I get so triggered by Scorpios and da 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 da, this kind of thing. So that dovetails into the 9 of clubs. So is it in your hand? Whenever I discuss a card, check if it's in your hand in either the soul spread or the pure spread or the mundane spread, and check ascending and descending. So the Three of Diamonds is my ascending Mars. So for me, everything that I should watch my video from yesterday and say, how is this what I'm stepping into regarding career? So that's the way to frame that question. Okay, so the 9 of clubs, what's its karma card? The Queen of Hearts. Okay, so for a 2 of spades, you would say, okay, Jupiter, you would say, how is the 9 of clubs Jupiter to me? Okay, so the very first question I would ask the 2 of spades would be, are you open-minded? Are you basically willing to take in new information? Is that easy for you? Do you get fixated on your belief systems, or are you just kind of curious and open? And I would say curious and open based on all the 2 of spades I know. They're awful mellow. Oh, well, you know what's funny? What? What? And you would also look at the six of diamonds. Do you have the six of diamonds in your hand? Okay, so I can think of the nine of clubs as a moon vibration to myself, or Mercury. So does this involve my intimate relationship with myself? This whole nine of clubs energy, what we're going to cover. How is it connected to Mars for me? Because that's where it sits. How about the Queen of Hearts? Because as a nine of hearts, that's another personality card. So it just becomes such a web. And I'm realizing, wow, when you're listening to one of these videos where I'm talking about a specific card, that is the funnest thing you can do, is be like, okay, first of all, does this sound like me at all? And then second of all, is this card in my hand? Is the karma card in my hand? And then the third question would be, how's the number or the suit? Can I guess I'm just saying, when you're joining the thinking here, you can contribute to what we're all getting by taking some ownership of how you're expressing that card. Yeah. Okay. He's a two of diamonds, and today he has a two of spades. Oh, that's so funny. Oh, I love that synchronicity. So, two of diamonds, that's fun. I was just thinking about this prospective girl that I would like to interest my son in, and he's open to it. So, it's not like, this weird maternal thing. I'm just like, I think he's finally finishing with that other dysfunctional thing. Maybe that girl, and she's the same card as his dad. And it's like, I don't think I'm going to tell him that yet, because it's just automatic. You date your parents. Anyway, so let's talk about the nine of clubs. Let me know. Okay, here's your little homework assignment. If you can add a comment, you're not driving or busy or something, operating heavy machinery. If you're on drugs, it's okay. You can do this. Figure out where the nine of clubs is connected to you, and just don't give me the details, just give me the planetary energy. So for me, I would write in Mars, because it's Mars to the seven of diamonds. If you don't know where to start, just let me know what your card is, and I can help you figure out where this fits in. So, nine of clubs. The first thing I got, which is just the way my brain works, which is probably an example of the nine of clubs in my Mars. I'm passionate about knowledge and information. Okay, nine I think of as a yin energy, but in the card system, I've got my doubts about that. Okay, nine of diamonds I do experience as being kind of more yin, although they're I think they're more subversive about it. They may be yang. So what I'm saying is agency versus being acted upon or receiving. I'm fundamentally a very yin person, but Robert Camp just throws this out there. There's these little things, and you nibble on them sometimes for decades. And he says the nine of clubs has a Sagittarian feel to it. And all of a sudden, it just came together for me that it's a yang. Genie, five of diamonds, woo! I mentioned you in the live yesterday. Miss Glenda, you're a five of diamonds too? Okay, we've got two of you guys. Okay. Hi, Jason! Descending Uranus. Okay. Thank you. This is good. Okay, so I think that the nine of clubs has a masculine agency acting upon, moving towards, taking the initiative towards the thing that it is. The nine of clubs doesn't just receive knowledge, it seeks it out. It's I would describe myself as kind of aggressive. Like I'm kind of an aggressive learner when I really want to know something. So as a Uranus vibration, that's a genius thing. You just go for it. And it is for me, it is a combination of being open and hearing it. Oh, and there's this reading thing. If you give readings, I've got this really cool thing that happened to me yesterday, and I'm like, ooh, this is really cool. Okay, so the five of diamonds, how are you connected to the nine of clubs? Where does this figure into your kingdom? That's a really good question, because Robert Camp quoted Jesus, and at this workshop I did, he's like, The kingdom of heaven is within you. You're every card. He was just kind of pointing that out. Okay, so 5 of diamonds. Okay, so 2 below your card, if you're looking at horizontal or vertical, which we don't do very often, you should nibble on the composite for all the cards, the birth cards, to the ruler and see how it shows up differently each month. For example, whoosh, here's our literally, I was going to say alchemical and your outer shell alchemy. So he's doing the composite. You're into the alchemy. Okay, so boom, boom, you go down. There's the Queen of Hearts, which is karma to the 9 of Clubs. Or you can look for the 6 of Diamonds. Okay, so Venus, Mercury, and Moon. That is your connection to the 9 of Clubs. So Mercury and Moon, is it emotionally fulfilling? Is it the style of your thinking? Abso-freaking-lutely for the 5 of Diamonds. I want to know more. I want to know more. Okay, now you have another explanation for why that exists for you. Descending Mars, that's mine. That Jason said that. Yeah, that would be, yeah, I've already talked about that. Okay, so the 5 of Diamonds is next to the 6 of Diamonds in the spiritual spread. That's why I said the Moon, Mercury. Do you need Mercury and Moon are so close to us that it's difficult to disidentify from your thinking or feeling style. But the emotional card, the Moon card, I've come to see as my emotional launch pad. Like, one way of looking at it to kind of push it away from you a little and get a perspective is that when you're a child, this is an energy that has pervaded your life. So a 9 of Clubs energy in childhood can be a sense of vagueness. There's not enough definition around me. Things are just kind of, I don't know, they're just kind of blurry or vague. Or it could be I was given the freedom to think what I wanted to think. Mercury is communication style and the way your brain works, and also how you come off to others because of your words. And it's not you. Like, when you've really gotten to know a particular card, sometimes the first thing you see is their Mercury. It's the first thing that's visible, kind of like the skin that's closest to their being, like it's their lycra. Your Mercury is your lycra. But it's not you. It's just how you communicate yourself. So my 5 of Spades energy is quite different from the 7 of Diamonds, how I experience myself inside that lycra. Fits me really good, but Miss Glinda, okay. Hey, Robert! Ah! 9 of Diamonds. Oh, so as a 9 of Diamonds, would you say that you're more yin or yang? Are you more just kind of, oh, I have to magnetize life to me, or I have to make it happen, or I just do make it happen? I act on others, or others act on me. It's kind of a human design thing too. Hey, Sharon. Hey, Green Knight. 9 of Clubs planetary ruler. Oh, that's so awesome. I just randomly picked it, but it's already just really bearing fruit. Okay. So Ms. Glenda, you would also take your Queen of Spades and say, how is that connected to, and I haven't even brought in the ascension chart, the 43rd grid, because that's like a whole different story. And that is really important to look at, because it will help you reframe something from the negative to the absolute positive. And you get to ask the question, oh, how am I doing this really well? And you can get a really different take on yourself. Or how does this, yeah, how am I getting better at this and demonstrating my progress, which feels really good. Okay, so let's see, no, I'm not going to go into that detail. But anyway, yeah, so I've given the 5 of Diamonds a little rundown on the 9 of Clubs. So Sharon, did you hear me ask? Here's what if you just joined, tell me where either the 9 of Clubs or the 6 of Diamonds or the Queen of Hearts, where does that live in your spread? Do you have it as like a descending moon and ascending Jupiter? And if you do, just like, yeah, say ascending or descending, but put the planetary energy, and then I can kind of interpret how that operates in your life. This is like putting together another layer of puzzles for me. This is so fun. Okay, you're 61 and will be 62 in September. Brief comment on that. I've observed that 63, 64, and 65, like those couple of years, it's almost like you're in a holding pattern because you're going from a 7-year transition at 63, which feels like, whoa, that's a shift in gears to turn 63, but it's almost like you're waiting till you turn 65 for the fullness of something to really show up. So anyway, just thought I would throw that in there. Ray says, I need to get my full spray again. I had it but never saved it and don't have my wife's Destiny card book nearby. Oh, okay. So you want to take a screenshot? So the 2 of spades, sorry, this one isn't in color, but anyway, and then the crown line for the rest of your hand. And then also, you can look at that for your ascending. Sharon, hello. Green Knight, 9 of Clubs, planetary ruler. Are you the 5 of spades? And it's it's your Venus card. Okay, so I want to know what's on your reading list, because that would be knowledge for pleasure. What kind of books do you read? And I'm sorry, I forgot the name you like to go by, Green Knight Errant. Yeah, that'd be very curious to me. Also, does this operate in your relationships in a way that makes you both a very generous communicator, but also kind of vague? So because it's my Mars card, it shows up in my relationships with men. And I can be so freaking vague sometimes. And my partner, who's a 3 of clubs, will be like, so yes or no, I need an answer. And I'm like, I just can't give you an answer right now. I don't know. I don't care. Whatever. So does that 9 of clubs affect your relationships with women? Green Knight Errant. Okay, 9 o'clock of clubs. That's so fun. I know that's a typo. Jeannie, I find interesting that my composite card to myself, which is the 5 of diamonds plus the 9 of diamonds, equals the ace of clubs. Then plus the 9 of clubs, I get the 10 of diamonds. Oh, okay. Yeah, we can all just work with a simple composite of your regular card added to the 9 of clubs. So let's figure out our relationship to this card. So, okay, the basic personality of a 9 of clubs is there is a contrast or a necessary friction or a contradiction, maybe that's the word, in every person. Like they're really this, but they're really that. Some of these polarizations are really far apart. And one of them for the 9 of clubs is they strike you as being very soft, very open. They're the storyteller. They can go on and on and on. They need to tell you the full story. And it's kind of like, oh my God, I have to go. This is painful for me because here I have this 9 of clubs too. I have all these 9s in my hand and it's like just saying, I gotta go is really hard for me. So, and I'm the storyteller with my Mars. Look at me, I'm doing it right here. So where was I rolling towards? Okay, it's 22. So for me, it would be 22 plus 33 would be 55 minus 52 is the 3 of hearts. So I would, okay, that explains a little bit of the weirdness I feel with the 9 of clubs, because the 3 of hearts is kind of like the weirdness card. It's just kind of weird. I say that because I don't know a lot of them, but also the way they operate just it doesn't just strike me. It's like, it's hard to figure out. Okay, a famous 3 of hearts is Professor McGonagall, that actress, Maggie Smith. They're supremely confident with that King of Spades. They have a very solid emotional launch pad from childhood, but they can be very like, anyway. So there's a strength and a softness, and the 9 of clubs has that strength and that softness. One reason they're soft, they're storytelling. Rikara, hey! I love it when you check in after a while. Um, okay, I'll get back to the 9 of clubs. I want to catch up with the comments. Jeannie, talk about building on what we think is valuable to us. Sharing knowledge. My sister's a 9 of clubs. Green Knight is answering my question about the 9 of clubs operating in his relationships with women. With women, it's usually my Jack of Hearts decant ruler. It's usually my Jack of Hearts. Oh, yes. Isn't that interesting? I definitely need to full story and tell my full story. Yeah, especially in a social setting. Venus is hanging out with friends and that kind of thing. So, one reason they're very soft is because of that 9 energy. They're just very allowing. But what's their vertical alignment? It's Saturn. Horizontal is Venus. So they're very connected, very relational, want to communicate, tell their story, don't leave out any details. And it's a story. It's not just information. It's fun, it's interesting, and if you got the time for it, it's going to be really entertaining and colorful. But the Saturn, it's like the phlegmatic personality style. They seem to go along with everything. They seem very easygoing, but when you kind of get down below, it's like the moon dust. You get this clink, clink, the metal structure of the moon. You get to this, oh, they're not going to adapt to you in this way or maybe many other ways. They seem very pliable, but they're actually kind of rigid. Another reason they're kind of rigid and have a kind of, okay, we could call it a backbone. I'm acting offended by this. I'm acting like this is a negative thing, but okay, let me just try to make it a characteristic, soft and firm. So their firmness also comes from the fact that the Jack of Hearts is their moon card, descending moon. So when they're a stick in the mud about something, when they're just like, when that boundary feels unnecessary, they're being just like really stuck about something, then that's kind of more descending moon. But it can also mean a deeply compassionate nature. So the Jack of Hearts has many faces, right? The Jack of Hearts has a huge, think of it as a large planetary body acting on the 9 of clubs. Sometimes the cards around a card have such a pull on it that you can't really think about it without that other card. The 2 of Diamonds is an example. 2 of Diamonds are genius. They're brilliant. So, Ray, is it your nephew? Ronnie. Okay, thank you. Usually nonfiction, unusual history. Oh. Um, so the genius of the 2 of Diamonds comes from the Jack of Spades in its Mercury. But when it's willing to let that be an ascending moon card, it allows itself to be transmuted, utterly changed. They tend to be kind of a fixed card too. And part of that's because they have the 8 of clubs descending Venus. So in relationship, they can feel absolutely recalcitrant. Anyhow, I can do the 2 of Diamonds next. I know a lot about the 2 of Diamonds. Okay, let me just make sure I didn't skip anything. Yeah, my husband's the same way with fiction. He likes he likes obscure fiction or nonfiction. Jeannie, whenever I get together with a 9 of clubs, we draw cards, and everyone benefits. Cats within GTG communicate that gets to experience our. Yes, I know exactly what you're saying, because there's a universality about the 9 of clubs, but your 10 of diamonds, that's what you're saying, is like, I have a 10 of diamonds energy when I interact with this person, and it's like the availability to everybody because of where it sits, the 10 of diamonds. That's great. I love this little study. Okay, talk about building on what we think is valuable to us. Tell me more what you mean about building on what we think is valuable to us. You mean as a 9 of clubs? like the Nine of Clubs 5, how to maximize your expression of it. Um, Sharon, know that I have the Queen of Hearts, Mercury. Right, so the Nine of Clubs will definitely have a big impact both on your Mercury, your communication style, which is, and what I feel from you is like, sure, I'm open to anything, just throw it out there. And, but it would be an ascending moon card, an ascending moon vibration. Yeah, the thing I feel about you is like, you're so confident in your own template of learning, your own paradigm, which is represented kind of by the King of Clubs, your own personal, what's your paradigm, your portfolio of like philosophy, that you can afford to be very open. So this would be like an ascending moon vibration of like, I can afford to be really open-minded because I'm just really confident with what with what I believe. I love that because there's a differentiation there. You're not opening up and saying, convince me. You're opening up and saying, I'm curious about what you think. Doesn't have anything to do with me, but I'm curious. So curiosity is a great word for what we can build on with the Nine of Clubs. So wherever it sits with you, ascending or descending. Okay, there's one other major category, especially for the descending. I have to write it down before I forget it. Okay. Jeannie, well, my work in the relationship with the Nine of Clubs person is the Nine of Spades. Oh. Spiritual initiate energy. Energy on my side as we. Interesting. Yeah, I'm really working that composite stuff and then the work that each person has in the relationship. I'm Jack of Spades. Yeah, when you said spiritual initiate, I was like, maybe the Nine of Spades because death is kind of an initiation, right? Okay, I forgot what I was going to say about the Nine of Clubs. Wherever it sits, I was thinking about. Okay, I'm just going to jump to what I was going to say. Sorry. It's the completion of an old paradigm. 9 is ending, clubs is knowledge. So when it shows up as an event, which you have to bring into your understanding of the card and the person, because that particular event will either, they have a relationship to that event, what I've noticed. Like, oh, and that reminds me of this other thing I want to talk about with readings. Like the Five of Diamonds as an event is you're going to have a change of how money comes to you or what you value. And then if you ask a Five of Diamonds about that, like that's a whole big life process. Like that question is almost too big to answer. A good question to ask them would be, how do you feel about what you desire? Are you desiring the right thing? You're engaging the ego with that question. The right, wrong part of the brain. Do you want the right things? And if they have some level of like, I want what I want, they've really evolved into that Five of Diamonds. They're like, it's what I want right now. Okay, that's enough. Okay, so completing a paradigm. So where does it sit in your hand? And connect that to completing a paradigm. Like if it's your Venus card, or no, if it's your Mercury or your moon, you are here to let go of a lot of things that you've accumulated from past lives. And don't be surprised if you just get really used to throwing things in the dumpster. It's interesting. I said to a Jack of Clubs last September, she's a bit younger, very kind of radical in her beliefs at this point, extremely passionate, let's just say that. And I suggested to her that her beliefs will change. And she got supremely offended. And I'm like, question would be, what's your relationship to the nine of clubs? So since she's a club, I would immediately go to the pure spread and look at, okay, it's 9999. Venus. She has a Venus connection to that, but it would be ascending Venus in the pure spread. So, ooh, well, that makes sense. It's something that she's not really reaching for yet is that openness. I mean, she can be really open, but she's also really fixed. So, anyway, righteous. Hey, what cards or placements tell about how you can best be of service to mankind? The ascending chart is all about service. The descending chart, and if you don't know what that is, let me know and I'll explain it. It's kind of my thing. It was downloaded to me. I'm not going to say I invented it. It was downloaded to me, and then it took me years to finally say, oh, this is a thing. My guides told me about this a long time ago because it wasn't ready. So the being of service and living in your highest potential is when you look at your cards to the right and up instead of to the left and down. So to the left and down, that's because we're coming out of this Kali Yuga. We've come here to deal with our shit. We've come here to resolve issues. You know, like that nine of clubs in my descending. So I just call what Robert Camper, what everybody would call is just your Mars card. I would call it descending. Yeah, right? Well, here's that nine of clubs. We're energizing our time with the nine of clubs, which is incredibly intuitive. It's like they can mold themselves to your belief system and hear your mind, and there's that yin quality to it. But yeah, the descending hand, we're always working both. And when you work on, like for me, the nine of clubs in descending Mars would be, I have to let go of a lot of paradigms around men in this lifetime. I have so many nine. I have all 4 nines, which means I'm letting go of I'm letting go of people and attachments. I let go of so many people. Like not just in death, but in like, oh my God, I had such a powerful attachment to that person. And it was just like ripping out an organ to let them go. I've never really validated how painful that's been. Okay, the nine of clubs is letting go of old ideas, nine of diamonds, letting go of old ethical systems. Let's call it that. And the nine of spades is letting go of, God, that's a tough one. My body, letting go of identifying with my body, with physicality. Anyway, so in Mars, I'm letting go of maybe how we should run our career or ideas about men. So here's a really fun thing to do, to look at service in, like, put it in that framework. And so thank you for asking me that question, Righteous, because something that I've learned you can do. Let's take the mundane spread. I wish I had the colorized version. Oh, here it is. It was loose. Okay. So, Righteous, what's your card? Let's use you as an example. We're going to use Genie until you tell me what your card is. So Genie is the 5 of diamonds. If let's say she's going to deal with her Saturn issue, because in Saturn she feels this as a big life pull purpose that she won't get to until she's really, really fleshed out a lot of things within her character, but it feels like a calling. That's what ascending Saturn feels like. It's like, oh, imagine doing that someday. Wouldn't that be amazing? And it's like, it's not amazing for other people, but it's amazing for you, which makes me be like, what's my ascending Saturn? Oh, that's the 10 of spades. Like, it means ultimate success and being really busy. And I'm like, I can't imagine being like really busy. I'm not one of those people. Truly. But it's happening. It's also tireless devotion. Can I imagine having tireless devotion towards something? Okay, so let's look at, okay, so I have to work through my descending Saturn to achieve this. So my descending Saturn, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, 2 of hearts. I have to really figure out, Oh, righteous is your partner? Oh my God! I love it! How are you? And I've forgotten your name. I can just see your sweet little aura, your big aura. So the Five of Diamonds, descending Saturn, they also have a 2 in Saturn, so they have to work through communication and self-talk in order to really achieve Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, the ascending Saturn, 5 of Hearts, which is, I'm really, okay, it's 5 of Hearts. Yeah, that's a lot. It has a lot of layers. It can mean separation from a loved one, like at a distance. It can be giving yourself the permission, and we'll couch this in service in a second. Giving yourself permission to want what you want. It's like inner child, I feel like, I need. That's what the 5 of Hearts represents. And so maybe there's a connection with helping other people get to that place. Okay, and can also be helping people become more emotionally independent. And we're talking about the 5 of Diamonds now. So Jeannie, tell me, does this work out for you somehow? Yeah, facilitating other people being more emotionally independent, because after all, you're a 5 and that's what you're figuring. And they're very often, a 5 will have a 5 in a Saturn position, or a 2 and a 2. And I think that's really hard work, because it's such a mirror, but it's the formula of what you work on within yourself you can give away. Oh, that's so cool, Jeannie, good. Okay, so for the King of Diamonds, are you a Pisces? For some reason, I'm thinking you're also the 4 of Spades. But no, that's Jason's partner. I'm starting to memorize people's partners. I love that. So the King of Diamonds. So you're descending. Let's look at Venus. Descending Venus is the 4 of Clubs. So in the context of relationships. Oh, okay. Well, let's look at your Uranus then. Okay, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, 6 of Diamonds. So this is about discovering your genius, the work of your Uranus card. It's also looking at where you can be kind of flaky and unpredictable. But I like the idea of it's your genius. So when you really own that. So the 6 of Diamonds is, I answer to my calling, I'm reliable, I'm consistent, and I know how to show up and do the work. It's kind of my genius. It flows from you. So in really owning that, you achieve the ascending Uranus, which would be the 5 of Spades for you, which means travel much, freedom, adventure. Oh, you're both air. Does it get kind of breezy in there? The 5 of Spades, reward of, like, it would be about mobility, freedom. Okay, but it's a reward, but it's also a form of service. So maybe helping others find their freedom, maybe even their economic freedom, their own agility. I would say a kind of sovereignty of freedom. Like, this can't be taken away from you. It's like you're wired to know that. The King of Diamonds, I know, they absolutely know their own freedom. And one of the most instrumental King of Diamonds in my life definitely wanted so passionately for me to understand my own freedom. Awesome. To your point, I've been looking into annual projections and how the daily cards show up in strength when it's a card associated with the planet. In strength, is this what you're saying? Because this is something I've noticed. Like, you're doing a reading for somebody and you're looking at the desk in the cards book and you're like, dang, this Jack of Hearts. Well, let's talk about a card we have, the 3 of Spades. It shows up over and over again. Like, here it is in Venus, and then here it is in da 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 da. And when you look at the ascension chart, there it is at Saturn. And then a day comes along that is the 3 of Spades, and like, it's charged. That frequency is really charged. And if that is the composite card of your relationship with somebody else, that relationship is going to be charged. So I'm not sure if that's what you're saying, but that's something that I've noticed. The daily cards show up in strength when it's a card associated with the planet that is active in the chart, which activates a specific house for the year of that age. I don't know about the house thing. I need that to be explained to me. Where can I find that out? For the year of that age. Ooh, that just sounds tasty. Also correlating the tablets to the annual projections, since it's a timing technique as well. Profections. Are you trying really hard to write projections, or is it perfections? It's a timing technique. Okay. Oh my gosh. That feels really deep to me. There's a complexity of your mind that is being reflected by the Queen of Spades you have in Mercury. Mastery of the mind. I mean, sometimes when I'm talking to my Five of Diamonds friends and she's seeing, it's like she's seeing the matrix, she's seeing the code, and I'm like, I'm just not following it. Do you find that people don't take you seriously or think you're off in the woo and they're just like rolling their eyes because you're tuning into something that's just other people can't see? And to you, it's as clear as day. I wonder if that's a Five of Diamonds thing. And with Five of Diamonds being my Venus card in the spiritual spread, I'm doing my own thing now. I'm reflecting and I'm going, does that happen to you, Paula? And I'm like, like you guys should have seen me for 15 years. When's your birthday? Oh, it's a little, like, that's what they heard. Like, I just see it so clearly. It makes so much sense to me. Like I'm in a Uranus ruled year, and Uranus card in the line and the column, those cards show up and hit me like a brick. Yes. Okay. Now I know what you're saying. Yeah. Pay attention to where cards show up and their kind of general planetary energy. It's kind of like exalted. Like I would say the Jack is exalted in the sign of Uranus. If it shows up in Venus, it's gonna be challenging because it's gonna throw up some unexpected things. Some, hey, we need to revise how we do relationship. But anyway, yeah, it's like all these dials and stuff, and then there's an alignment that seems kind of random, but it's like, ooh, especially like especially when the King of Clubs shows up because it's my Uranus card. So those are crazy. Right, especially if that card is in your hand. And with what we're talking about today, locating your card, locating any card in the system, how are you related to that card? And you look at both of its karma cards, and there are some cards you will have very little to do with. And I've been able to, like, you can get out a card deck and just, actual cards and just like, you know, organize it that way. And there's a small handful of cards that I feel like I have almost no connection to. Not zero, just not a very strong connection. It's like the Eight of Spades. So when I actually meet one, I'm like, they just feel like they're from another culture, another country. They feel so foreign to me. So I guess it's an opportunity, really, to just be totally open and be like, show me who you are. This is interesting, because then it helped me understand when the Eight of Spades shows up in my hand. It's like that's why strength is kind of like discipline seems so foreign to me, because that's the card of discipline. Okay, I'm going to segue a little bit into when you're doing a reading. Okay, so this is going to be a little taster for my certification course, which might come out in a year or two. Okay, when you're giving a reading, it's really important to adopt a space where you go into a room of just listening. Just listen. and just let that person share what they want to share. But you're also waiting for some gears to be touched, some bells to be rung. And so I was giving a reading yesterday, and finally she used, like, she just described her general situation. Like, it was one of utter dissatisfaction with something, a job that had previously been pretty good. Just like, they're kind of irritations, but it's good, and I'm really grateful, and get along with everyone. And all of a sudden, it's like the bricks came crashing down, and she's like, I just hate my job right now. And so I was like, okay, dissatisfaction. We're in the 5 arena. And then there was something else about the 5 of clubs where I went, okay, I know for sure that I'm going to find this in her hand. Okay, she had 5 of spades descending. Okay, it was the 31st year. No, 32nd year, 6 of clubs is in that bottom right corner. And she had in Mars, which is career, 5 of spades descending, but she had 5 of clubs ascending. So when I went, oh, I'm hearing the 5 of clubs, but because it's in an ascending position, I'm going to encourage this. I'm going to give her the high side of the 5 of clubs. I'm going to say it's really important that you take note and pay attention of your dissatisfaction right now. And for a 6, an even card, 5s are harder. They don't want to complain. And this applies to people in the Mars line, like the King of Diamonds, righteous. You don't want to be a complainer, because like those people are just like, pfft. But when a 5 shows up, something's getting agitated, and it's okay for you to be unhappy about something. So I was like, I just gave her my little regimen for the 5 of clubs. It's like, okay, you're in this situation. Number 1, have compassion on yourself. Let up on the judgment. It's a hard place to be. Number 2, get curious, get a little detached, write a list of what you don't like. And then on the other, and really be petty. Go for it. Give yourself permission. It hurts to complain. I feel it in my chest. Yeah. It's like rubbing your fur the wrong way. But has the spirit put you in situations where you couldn't avoid admitting that you were really unhappy, like having to leave a marriage, or having to end a friendship, or having to quit a job, or it's like, I just can't do this anymore, and I don't want to hurt anybody, but I just can't dishonor myself anymore. Anyway, take that 5 energy, because you're going to fill in the opposite side of the page. Okay, so you say, I get thrown inconsistent tasks. I hate irregularity. I hate unpredictability. Then on the other side of the page, in your manifesting work or your clarity about what you want, because that's all the 5 is trying to get you to, is what you want. What do you want? Every time you see a 5, ask yourself the question, what do I want? Also, what do I need? That's more the heart realm. But what do I want? So then you go, I want consistent tasks thrown at me. I want to be able to anticipate. I love planning. I love predictability. I'm going to manifest something that's routine and predictable, and it just lowers my stress level, and I can just feel like my cells are just singing when I go to work, because I know what's going to be expected of me. I don't have to deal with the stress of like, for an odd card, that would be boring. And they would be like, I need stimulation. I need variety. I hate this regimented. Anyway, I'm getting in the weeds. So yes, in your open-minded listen, just as a recap, just listen to their story or your story, listen for the tag words and go, oh, I think I'm describing an initiation experience in the realm of money. That would be Jack of Diamonds. I think I'm experiencing a new beginning in my self-care, Ace of Hearts. I'm experiencing an ending in the physical realm of some kind, Nine of Spades. Hello! Oh, I'm so glad you love this. So you listen for the tagline, and then look for that card in their age, in that spread. So like if they're 18, you pull out the 18 thing, you locate their card, and you go, okay, do I see that 7 of clubs? That would be like negative self-talk or fear. It's like, or attachment to thinking, am I seeing that showing up in their hand? And it can really help you clarify where it's operating. Okay, so like if it's Uranus, it's not going to be there all the time, or it's like this new outfit they're trying to put on. It's not a heavy duty like a Mars or a Saturn task. It's just like, play with this idea, and if it's in Moon, then it's affecting them emotionally. And it's like, what's going to make you feel safe? Then you talk more about that kind of thing. But listen for the card and then look for the placement. And sometimes that can help you understand how to guide them. Okay, I'm done with my material. I haven't talked that much about the Nine of Clubs. Whoops. Does anyone have any questions? Be like, I got a Nine of Clubs in my family and I can't stand them. Or like, what do they need? Or um, they have a loyalty. They love to partner for life with that Two of Hearts and descending Venus. They will manifest circle of 7 people in their the women in their life. But back up one, Jack of Hearts, mother, ascending Mars, father, partner. So in that Venus line, there's a lot of circle of 7 cards. Okay, that Jack of Hearts, they're telling me to correlate that to something. So the Moon card with the Jack of Hearts, Mercury, Venus, Mars, it is their task, descending Mars, King of Hearts, to grow up. So the Jack of Hearts can be that kind of rigid child. Want what I want because it's what I want. And then the King of Hearts is like, through Mars, through career and relationships with men, and maybe through father examples, they can kind of loosen up, open up, and be more emotionally mature about things. I do find that a lot of Nine of Clubs have they come across really mature. They've got their shit together. They're beautiful. They're physically attractive, but they can be really scared. There's this inner child in there that's just like, and it will cause them to be controlling, manipulative, maybe even kind of mean sometimes. This is part of the weird contrast of the Nine of Clubs. Okay, Jeannie says, earlier you said how the cards around the birth card have a pull on the person, but I think that had to downwrite that moon triangle thing because the moon has a pull on us and it can show up as support, but also can be heightening of our emotions if we're unbalanced. Oh, yeah, the moon. Okay. Okay, clarify. But I think that had to downwrite that moon triangle thing because what the hell was I saying? I want to learn how to read the cards. Do you suggest any books or sites? Well, I taught a class on this a couple weeks ago, or was it months already? Jason recorded it, and you know what? No, let's see. Did he record which one did? Yeah, he recorded the how to give readings. Okay, so Jason and I need to talk about me getting that to you, and I have to figure out how much it's going to cost. I don't know. Like, I think the live class was 60. Is that right? So let's make it 30 if you want to buy it. I should upload it to my site. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. That is so funny. Okay, so let me go back to Jeannie. Problems. Okay, I think that had problems, that moon triangle thing, because the moon has a pull on us. It can show up as support, but it can also heighten the emotions. Yeah, that's really true. Okay, well, hit me up. I think my, do I have my phone number in the description? Or let me just text me, 970, no. Yeah, just text me. I've done this before. I'm not famous enough that this is a problem. So text me. I can get it from Jason via email. You can text me your email. I'll send you my Venmo and I'll send you the class. Yeah, it was really comprehensive and I think it was like 2 hours. It was really fun. And yes, Robert, I do have to schedule my next class. And yes, it should be on relationships. So yeah, the moon card showing up as a supportive energy, a mother energy. I mean, that's actually a really fun thing to think about. Like the 7 of hearts would be what I grew up with, and the 8 of hearts under it must be considered. And I could say, okay, was there betrayal or disappointment in my childhood? Was there unconditional love? Was there spiritual love? When I read Rumi, because he's a 7 of hearts, does that connect me to my childhood or my inner child somehow? These are all very compelling questions. But if I look at the 5 of spades as an ascending moon card, I think that's the emotional support I give myself, because this coaching session I had for my business with my neighbor, she's amazing. Squirrels came into the garden. We did this guided visualization where your business is a garden. And it was so powerful. And there were a bunch of squirrels and they would come in and steal the fruit. And I was like, when analyzing it, it's like, that's my ADD. It's like, I almost didn't want to do the live today just because I'm so impulsive. And it's like I have self actualization hangovers. After I've accomplished something, I'm like, oh, I need to beat myself up or like sabotage myself somehow. I just can't handle success because it's my ascending Saturn card. Anyway, the squirrels. Oh, so the 5 of spades is a squirrel. And if I can give that permission to support me emotionally and say, oh, I really like this part of myself. This is my versatility. Um, then I'm using it as an ascending moon vibration, and look at how my style of talking just changed because it's my descending Mercury, which is blah, blah, very squirrel all over the map. But when I deepen into it as a moon vibration, completely shift energetically. Whoa, I love that. Okay, I'm gonna go now. I'll go in a minute because there's a delay. I was just talking about that with somebody. It's like I'm just not good at departures. So my ex-husband is teaching me that because that's what he when I'm on the phone, he's just like, "Well, I'm gonna go now." No explanation, no apology, no anything. Just informing me I'm gonna go now, and I'm okay with that. So why wouldn't other people be okay with me going? Okay. Any other comments, Jason? Yeah, it's been an hour. Jason was born in a full moon, Cancer dragon year. Oh, so yeah, like talk about multiple hooks. Yes, like in terms of just, I mean, like you're just self disclosing there, but what I see is like, oh my God, opportunities for analysis. The 9 of clubs is like, oh, we could go in all these different directions. So I think there might have been an eclipse on my birthday, or like, yeah, if you look at what was going on with that particular planet, and then, in your chart, yes, absolutely connect up all the dots between your astrology and your cards. Yeah, so that's very intense, very watery, very fiery. Well, dragon is wood, actually. Yeah, serious emotions. That is, it's like I should what? I remember what I was talking about. Oh yeah, my grandma would just hang up as soon as you said you were to go buy anything else. Just click. I had an uncle like that. He was the 7 of spades. And it's like it's so refreshing in a way. It's like I have a life to live. I'm moving forward. I'm done with you now. Bye. Little New York there. It was an eclipse a few weeks after your birthday. That's interesting because with what we've learned about eclipses recently, we know that the time impact like it's a whole bubble into the past and the future. So I would say eclipse talks about shadow aspects and what's hiding in there. And I would also encourage you to see that as a resource. Like 2 of spades, you should look at your moon cards, the card on either side of you. So that would be 4 of diamonds and 8 of hearts, emotional power, and also 4 of diamonds. It's like, am I enough? Yeah, okay. But, okay, wait. Yeah, it does count, but not you not noticing and then having a whole ass conversation with yourself because she hung up 10 minutes ago. Totally. Yeah, I get it. You just like keep talking, talking. You're like, oh, she left a long time ago. Oh, I love that. That's awesome. Okay, you guys, I love you, and I promise these are based on my taskings from my coach over there. Um, I'm gonna schedule one more regular, and I wanted to find out from people what works for you that like this Friday, 1 o'clock or 10 o'clock. Like if I have something in the morning, I'll do the reading at 1. Um, would another like what other day and time works for people? And if I don't get any feedback, I think I should just pick a day and try it, and then maybe I'll have a whole different crowd. And then I'm going to give myself just a spontaneous, whatever. And then people would be like, "Damn, I missed your live again." I can just be like, "Okay, have a great day, you guys. I'll let you go. This was really fun, and it was so every time we do any particular card, the whole session is going to be charged with that card, and your response to it is your composite to that card. So look at the composite. Okay, yeah, that's why I feel a little lost because it's 3 of Hearts energy for me. So I'm like, whoa, this is the social vibe. Okay, have a great day, and I will see you probably, I'm thinking Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday. Probably Tuesday. Monday's kind of a full day. Oh, you are so welcome. Thank you for all the little thank yous that I get delayed. Heart, 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 could you heart? Okay, bye.